discussion and possible action, including direction staff to establish data reporting and charting website. This IT ad hoc committee, made up of Supervisor Williams and Jurdy, are the sponsors. And gentlemen, I'm not sure who's going to go forward with this.
So the idea here is to kick off an initiative to publish data that the county already collects. And some of that data can be published numerically, but for a lot of lay people, it's more useful if it's charted over time. Wouldn't you like to see how many business licenses have been issued on a 5-year chart, or cannabis revenue that's updated daily to reflect the revenue coming in? It would allow supervisors to make better decisions. Likely county staff could make decisions based on that data. The public would be aware of where we are in various metrics. So I actually wrote this agenda summary on my phone during the power shut off. I didn't have a computer. And I just threw together some of the charts that I've wanted to have for past discussions. But what I would like is for the executive office, department heads, supervisors, maybe members of the public, to recommend more data and use this as an initial list as a proof of concept to show how valuable it is, say, to know the natural gas consumption by local government, so that when the climate action group gets going, they can start thinking about how to mitigate that, or the employee count by department, so that we can decide as we're restructuring, we have some awareness of where we've been trending. Or the transient occupancy tax, which might show a whole lot collected in areas that are not receiving financial benefit that should be, because there's an impact from those visitors on the local area. There's so many examples of where we want to be data driven and we're not. I think this would be a way to kick it off. And I appreciate Supervisor Jurdy for co-sponsoring it with me.
Okay, and do we have a cost?
We don't have a cost, but I think it's inherent in the recommendation that county staff put together a plan. Some of these items they can probably check off in a matter of hours. I would expect if there's an item on here that'll take a week of staff time, that it come back to the board. There's not an intention to have an open-ended large dollar amount. But I know some of the data that is put together, say Darcy does a great job showing us cannabis spreadsheets. And there's a lot of manual effort that goes into putting that spreadsheet together, getting the revenue, looking at the expenses, which takes a portion of an employee's time. We have to look at their overall benefits package to do the calculations. That's something that IS is able to set up as a one-time task. They do the work one time. From then on, we have live data that gives us that same information. There's a huge return on investment in that we won't be putting that spreadsheet together again. We're freeing up resources by automating the work.
Supervisor Jurdy.
What we've been advised at the IT ad hoc committee meetings is staff is working on a number of these initiatives. I do think that it's probable that our meeting with them has moved a couple of these items a little higher on their priority list, and I think this board directive would continue that trend. I mean, obviously something like the PSPS event is going to interrupt working on projects like this, but I do think that if the board endorses this, it'll keep moving this as a priority, and they'll see that it's a priority of ours that they continue to automate things as they can.
Supervisor Haschek, do you have any comments, sir?
No, I'm fine with it.
Okay. We are going to go to the public. Beth Bosk, please come forward.
I've been waiting for this one for a couple of years, maybe more. I would like to see the county provide information of which tracts of forest land, which THPs are being treated with hack and squirt and glyphosate, accompanied by aerial maps of those areas. Right now you have a complaint-driven complaint-driven situation where the county does not intervene unless there is a complaint. And most of the areas that are being treated with the result of dead standing trees are out of view of most of the public. So I'd like to see that added to the list along with aerial maps.
Anyone else? Public comment? Please come forward, Mary Ann.
Mary Ann Petrillo, West Business Development Center. I just want to say, as much of this data that you can collect is going to help you in the long run, because it's going to allow you to apply for grants in a more meaningful way. So really, when you're thinking about this, think about the opportunities that having 5-year, 3-year analysis is going to provide. I know certainly from a business perspective, but going out there and applying for grants, it's really essential. So I just want to say, any kind of data collection that you can do and automate the process, all the better.
And just to clarify, I think we're already collecting all of this data. This is just the effort of publishing what we already know.
And publishing it, the key of publishing it is publishing it in a meaningful way that people will understand it, because that's always the downfall that happens with a lot of organizations and agencies and even private sector, is that they publish it and nobody really fully understands it. So visually it has to be really clear to the public and to the grantees.
And if I may, to add on to that, the intention here is to do a rudimentary presentation of the data, but make the data available in a raw format so that a third party like West Company or West Business Development Center could take that data and do something for a specific purpose, like a grant application.
Exactly.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, it's back to the board.
I would remove the recommended action.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comment? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Chair Brown,
Yes?
we have Supervisor McCowan absent by prearrangement. Supervisor Hashchak,
Yes.
Supervisor Jurdy,
Yes?
Supervisor Williams.
Yes.
The motion carries with Supervisor McCowan absent by prearrangement.
Okay. So, we do have a couple of items left. I would like to put out there to my colleagues, our staff has been on the road since early this morning, and they still have to go back home. And even though we have a 5:30 rule, and we do have some time, I want to see if you want to go forward or suspend supervisors' reports, so we can get staff, help them get
Help them get
everything
to
cleaned
Patterson's.
up and get on the road so they can drive an hour and a half home and get some rest. So, do you
We've-
want to
we've
do
got-
supervisors'
No,
reports?
we've got more meetings this month. We could give reports then.
Okay, my stack's going to be huge by then. But I agree, I'm looking at them and going, okay. So, all righty. We're adjourned.